What's up, friends, and welcome back to a brand new ESKDIY video. In this video we're going to be unboxing this electric mountain board kit and breaking down exactly what it has to offer.
Make my heart beat super fast.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another ESKDIY video. Like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be unboxing this electric mountain board kit. This kit was actually sent to me by a company called ESKDIY.com. They didn't pay me to do this series, but I think it's going to be really interesting to figure out how a kit board like this one will compare to some of my more high-end DIY boards. Let's jump right into it. This kit actually took quite a while to arrive. I requested it sometime at the beginning of February and it took almost 3 weeks to arrive. But considering COVID shipping, it's not too bad. So right in the top of this kit here, we've got the ESC. And you guys may have seen this in the teaser from the last video, but this is a basic Hobbywing ESC, and we'll go into some of the specs of that a little bit later. Next up, we got the belts, and it looks like they provide hardware for mounting the trucks. It's a little short, actually. This isn't gonna be in focus, but there we go. It looks like it's only inch-long hardware, which is pretty short for most decks. So we'll have to see how that works out, and I might have to grab some of my own hardware to replace that with. There's actually not a whole lot in this box, but should be easy enough to assemble. So in here we've got the remote, and well, it's a pretty basic remote. It's actually a onboard remote. And on the website, I'll show you guys pictures, but they purposely take out all the logos on this stuff. But really, this is just an onboard kit that's taken apart. So we'll see how that goes. It looks like they also have a USB cable in here, just basic micro USB. Underneath all of this bubble wrap, we've got the important stuff. So we've got what looks like 8-inch wheels, and they're completely airless, and we've got double kingpin trucks. Now, I've never actually ridden double kingpin trucks before, but they are very turny. I should say I've never ridden double kingpin trucks on an electric skateboard. I've ridden them on a push skateboard before, but this will definitely be interesting to try these out. And these airless wheels are pretty cool too. I don't know how their performance will stack up with actual pneumatic wheels, but they look pretty cool. And they don't really flex if you like press on them, but I expect that they'll be able to absorb a lot of the smaller cracks and maybe even some of the bigger ones. And we're definitely going to take this off-road and see how much this grips. It looks like these actually have aluminum hubs as well. I would assume they're aluminum. There's probably no way that they're steel, but aluminum hubs on here, so hopefully those will be able to hold up to the abuse that I'm going to put it through. So onto the drive, probably the most interesting part of this kit. And there we have it. We've got, again, onboard. Very obviously makes this drive, and it even says it on the trucks. So not really hiding much here by hiding the logos on the website, but that's okay. I know Onboard makes some pretty good stuff, and There you go, you can see the pulley kind of takes up all the spokes in the wheel there. And you can see on board there on the truck. And again, double kingpin, but that's perfectly fine. It'll be really interesting to try that out since I've never ridden that before. It looks like, I'm not going to be able to see it super well, but I'll show some close-up shots later. It looks like these have those interesting stepped axles that some of the Chinese boards have been using, and the pulley bearings are a little larger than you would see on a normal board. Looks like they're probably like 9 millimeters instead of 8 or 10, whatever the larger standard is. So we will check that out in a little bit. It looks like one of the motors actually got scratched up during shipping. A little bit of a nick on it there. Obviously no functional problem, but you'd think with all this bubble wrap that they might have had it packaged a little bit better. Like I said at the beginning, this is basically just an onboard bamboo GT. I don't even know if it's a GT, I can't remember what the difference is, but let's get these front and center here. So I'm going to bring up the kit on the website right now, and we can go into some of the more specific details about the motors and what the kit has to offer. So on the ESKDIY site, you can just go to electric skateboard and then accessories. They structured their website kind of oddly. Probably could do with a little bit of a redo. And then we'll go to kit. And this is the kit. So I'll put some B-roll on screen now, and you can see some of the components close up while I go over the specs of them. So we've got a dual motor drive, like I mentioned earlier, and you can see here. And we've got the onboard motor mount plates. And I've heard that these are actually compatible with some of the Variel parts as well. I think they might use the same trucks and the same mount plates. But yeah, we've got those on there, and then we've got two 1500 watt motors. And they look like 6364 motors. Nothing too insane, but they look like the standard Hobbywing motors, which have the kind of flat back shell with a curve on it, or a chamfer on it. And I actually think they look pretty nice. They look like they're really quite well sealed. I don't think we'll have any issues with debris getting inside. There is somewhat of a crack between the can and the motor faceplate, but they look pretty good to me. It does look like these have metal pulleys, and they are pretty large. See if it says how many teeth they are. 170 kV motor actually, so 1500 watts but 170 kV, so these should give a decent amount of torque, but there's no tooth count for the pulleys here. If I had to guess, I would say that these are probably 72 tooth pulleys, which I think should give some pretty good performance. And on the motor, it's kind of hard to tell how big the pulley is. I would guess that it's probably 15 or 14 teeth. And we've got standard HTD 5M belt on here. And scoot that over, 340 millimeters long. So pretty standard parts. I would compare these trucks to something like what Evolve has with the double kingpin, but I believe that these onboard trucks are actually custom. And according to the website, these are actually forged trucks, which is card filled up. So like I was saying, if these trucks are actually forged trucks, they should be pretty durable, and obviously we'll see how that does, but I don't expect these to be breaking anytime soon, especially with the thicker axles that it looks like they have in there. Looks like we've got some ABEX 7 quote unquote bearings in here, and fully metal pulleys. It looks like they're probably cast. It's hard to tell. They might be machined, but they're anodized anyway. And it looks like they have a really good lock with the wheels, so there shouldn't be any problem with them breaking or wearing down too quickly. We've also got belt covers on here. Pretty standard feature. Actually, sounds like they're metal, which is pretty impressive. One of the nice things about some of these pre-built boards is the connectors on the ESC and motor side are getting better nowadays. So since we have these MT60s on here, it's really easy to just plug it straight into the ESC. And you have no problem with that connection right there. And then you plug in the corresponding sensor wire, and it's as easy as that. So one of the nice things about a kit like this is that a beginner can easily just kind of plop it together. But the thing is, with ESKDIY.com, they told me that they don't actually sell batteries. So they sell their complete boards, but I guess they don't want to deal with the logistics of shipping batteries across the sea from China. So if you're going to buy one of these kits, you have to be prepared to either buy a battery from one of the trusted battery builders on our forum, or plan on building it yourself, which is what I'm going to do. So let's get on to some more specs of this. We've got a Hobbywing ESC here, which I guess is pretty standard for some Chinese boards. It's either Lingyi or a Hobbywing ESC. This Hobbywing is probably a version 3 because of the shape and the MT60s. Version 4 actually has automatic motor detection, but I don't really expect this to have that. So we'll see once we set it up, but I think it'll just kind of be a turn on and it'll work kind of thing. Nothing really special about this. It's got some pretty small mounting holes, probably M3. The controller is an onboard controller, and I have to say the control on this feels pretty mushy, if that's a good word. But I will say also, it feels mushy, but has a lot of throw, so I think I'll actually like it. And then we got power button like normal, and presumably the speed mode button, which it says on the site there's 3 speed modes. So now you guys know a lot of information about what's in this kit, but what's the plan? Well, this is going to be a multi-part series in which I turn this electric skateboard kit into a working board. There's a few very important steps that still have to be done, and in the next episode I'm going to be going into some details of how I designed the battery enclosure for this and what exactly the plan is for the 10S 5P battery that I'm going to be building. In this next episode, we'll completely go through the design of the enclosure, how I printed it, and give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes look at how some of us DIY guys do our 3D printed enclosures. I'll be providing the files to the enclosure on Thingiverse, and I also have a really great printer, so if you're interested in replicating what I've done with this kit, you can contact me on the forum and just send me a message there, and we might be able to work out some way of me printing you some enclosures and getting you on the right track. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave them down below and I'll take them into account on the next video, as I'll be recording it after this one posts. If you'd like to keep up to date with the things that are happening on this build, you can follow my social media accounts that will also be linked in the description. I'll see you next time. Peace out. So, now you know a lot of information about this kit. Hope you enjoyed the video.